definitely does point out the difference in
perspective.
Well, yes, perspective, and that it is normal for you. It is everyday life, and it does kind of make you realize, while this is new for us, and we're talking about let's kind of wait for a right time so we could sit down and we could talk about this and let's let things fizzle out. I recognize that Black Americans are tired of waiting for a time to talk about it. You guys have been waiting for, since 1965. You've been waiting since 1865. You guys are done waiting. You're done So the protest, every bit of it does make sense whenever you look at it from that perspective. And the ball got started with Ferguson, and we're all doing everything we can.
I would say it got started before Ferguson. It got started with Trayvon Martin.
Yeah, there's that. Thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah, Trayvon, I guess I'm going to throw in my 2 cents now.
Okay.
Trayvon really did get it started. I think actually Rodney King. For my generation, it was Rodney
King. You can't forget Rodney King because that showed you, and I think that's also a thing we need to, it shows you why we say the time is now to talk about this. From Rodney King till now, Black people have been getting beat up and abused and killed by the police. And these same people, and that's what Rodney King stated when he talked about this in the past, he's gone through some horrible things afterwards, but that's a whole nother topic. But he stated that the same people that beat him up, incarcerated him, and broke him to pieces are now the police chiefs and the ones that are in power in California and various other places. These people didn't go anywhere. They just slowly moved up the ranks and got out of the public limelight so that their attention is not being brought to their old cases. But these people and this injustice has been around for a long time in this country.
We definitely dropped the ball.
Yeah, and I mean,
hearing this conversation going.
Well, here's the thing. It's not since Rodney King. It's not since Martin Luther King. It's not since Lincoln. It's not since Columbus. It's not always been like this, but
Yeah, it has.
No, actually,
this goes back all the way into Egyptian times. Slavery has pretty much existed since mankind.
Right.
After slavery, always came the racism, always came the division.
Yes, but Egypt wasn't necessarily about race, it was about conquering. Slavery is bad, all slavery is bad.
Well, yeah.
But Blacks had a different experience with slavery than the Jews did in Egypt.
Because everybody wanted Black slaves. It wasn't just like Egyptians were going and beating up on their neighbors. It was people from halfway around the world were coming to Africa to snatch people up and take them somewhere else to work.
Right.
So the whole continent was pillaged, and that's the reason why it's still in turmoil to this day.
But this has been going on at least since then.
Oh yeah, it's been going on since probably 1600s, but with regards to actual Africa, 1600s. Now my point on the Ferguson effect is this. I have multiple cops in my family. I wanted to be a cop at one point. Not all cops are bad. Not all cops are racist. Not all cops are corrupt. Most of them are not. Let's, truthfully about this. But I think every cop should have a camera on them.
Yes.
If they are on duty, you have a camera on you that cannot be turned off and the file cannot be deleted. That way, the suspects act better when they know they're being filmed, and the officers act better when they know are being filmed. Studies have proven this. But
it's the observer effect. That's been proven for years. The observation effect. Yeah, it's like
people always act different on camera. I'm really an asshole.
Yeah, you actually are.
But the simple fact is this. A lot of the cops in my life have said, everybody talks about cops when we do something bad. Nobody talks about cops when we do something good. Well, here's the difference. The reason why more attention is gotten when they do bad things is because that's not their job. Their job is to protect and serve, not stop and beat, not stop and kill. We do not have military in our country policing the population for a reason. And treating officers like military is not the right solution. I understand after 9/11 and, you know, all the local, states, and federal agencies were like, we've got to train everybody to be ready. That's fine. But they need to understand the difference between you're speeding and you're a terrorist.
Yeah.
You know, it's domestic violence, terrorism. You still handle things two totally different ways. And I don't think that has been instructed enough that it's not one solution fits all. It doesn't work. I can have an issue with an officer, and I pretty much can guarantee you I'd say probably 60% of the time, you guys and I will have a different experience.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm sorry.
But I did want Jaysin. Kind of, what have you been thinking through this? Because you've been kind of quiet over here. What's your thoughts?
I've been kind of quiet since my initial, but yeah. Okay, so just kind of going back to something Aaron said. First off, not just Black America. You know, it's minorities all across America. You know, even low-income white people. Not all of these that we see are really old. Some of them are new, and some of them, even the newer ones, are just as ridiculous, if not more ridiculous than some of the older ones we see. And to something Brandon said about, we always talk about the negative, you know, with the cops, but the negative in a lot of times always outweighs the positive. You know, you can do a lot of good, and if you beat the crap out of someone, you kill someone, that's gonna outweigh you doing some good work. And I hate to say it because what's that?
There was an officer, I think it was here in Kentucky, was called for a lady who was caught stealing groceries.
Mm-hmm.
He got there and found out she was stealing because she was homeless. She had kids to feed, and for him, it wasn't a black and white situation. Mm-hmm. He didn't put her in cuffs and throw her in the back of the car and leave the kids going. He bought that woman groceries.
I remember that story, yeah.
And I mean, it was a very powerful thing, and that officer was, recognized for it.
But not nationally. Not on a national stage.
But and that should be the norm.
Yeah. I mean, if we're going to bash them for everything they do wrong, why not celebrate everything they do right?
But see, there's a difference between paying for someone's groceries and killing someone. And I think that's the reason why the cops are getting bashed. It's not because we're unfairly justifying them. That's for every job. If you're a doctor, you're always waiting to get sued. That's why all doctors have liability. You know what I'm saying? If you're a politician, it's the same thing. They never say, when everything's running smooth in the city, if you're city manager, if everything's running smooth in the city, don't nobody say nothing to you. As soon as something's broken, everybody's gonna call in on you. So that's every job. So I don't like those types of arguments because those are general arguments. Cops should do that job and go above and beyond because they love their job, they love the people in their community, and that's what they should be doing. But when you kill someone on a regular basis and a particular group of people at 1/3 more than everyone else, a third more when they're 7% of the population, you know what I'm saying? Like, that doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. So that's the reason why I think people are so upset, is because there's this obvious abuse on a specific amount of people, and there's been nothing done about it after all of this time. And again, even if we go back to the Ferguson Effect, I think that's why black people are upset in general all over the country, is because a lot of people, black, white, and different, when you can't properly articulate your argument, you get frustrated. And when you get frustrated, you do violent acts. So I don't know how to properly work in the political system, so instead of working in it, I'm just gonna go and attack my local politician. You know what I'm saying? I can't come to listen to you, I don't know how to petition to you to get this law passed, so the only thing I know how to do is riot. And that's what a lot of people do, and it gets people very frustrated. So you also have to look at the fact that people are frustrated that they're being attacked, and people are also frustrated because they don't feel like they have any way of fixing it. They can't help it, so they get angry.
I'm going to play devil's advocate with you for half a second.
Go ahead.
Kill me. All right?
Please don't. Time-wise. Let's just be...
Thank God for the 500 miles between us.
Right? There is an argument that the minority society actually performs more crimes, which is why they are
incarcerated.
That is statistically false.
Or like racial profiling. My question to you is, do you believe that, oh God, this is going to sound horrible. Do you believe that blacks do more crime than whites, or you think whites just don't get caught as often?
That is statistically false. And it's not that whites don't get caught as often as whites aren't looked for as often. So there's a big difference. You're never going to see something if you don't look for it. And it's only the whites who do it blatantly obvious or so poor that you don't have to worry about any backlash in the city that you're going to pick at. So there's a lot of small towns in Alabama where the poor white drunkard is the one who always get hauled into the police station just because he's poor, and he's typically the one that they can go and pick up and not have to worry about this person fighting back because they don't have the power to. So no, black people don't do anything else more. It's actually proven white people commit more crimes because what? The white population is so vastly larger than every other population. It's just the fact that they are not targeted by the people who lock you up.
Not only that, but
for the record, I would like to state I'm playing devil's advocate.
Yeah.
I don't. You can put it in the comments, whatever you want to say.
He's playing devil's advocate. But I do want to add on to what Aaron was saying is that also another aspect to it is economics. You know, they don't go to the nicer areas where a lot of crime happens.
A lot.
But they know they can get away with it. It's proven fact. I mean, shit, let's take it to a grander scale. And you got Wall Street, you know, constantly committing crime, you know, and most of the people that work on Wall Street are Caucasian, you know. They still haven't been prosecuted.
Yeah.
None of them been.
After the crash, I think only one person is
Yeah,
actually
it was only
going to
one.
jail
To the best,
for all that.
well, to the best of my knowledge, neither state nor federal government drug test for jobs. Do you know why?
Because a lot of them are on them.
Absolutely.
They would lose over half of their employee staff. But before we close up,
just the little things. It's not hot. These guys are
on serious stuff.
major things.
Oh yeah.
But again, just for time, just to kind of close up, I would like to say that even in Richmond, Kentucky, where we all were, where I met Brandon and Sirena, I knew a lot of people in the police force because EKU is where all the cops in the state come to train. So I knew a lot of police officers who were training to actually do the job. And they all told me, from every single one, oh yeah, almost every cop knows where there's a wealthy person having parties with mounds of cocaine. But they know if they go and kick in that door, they're not going to get half of the convictions, and they're going to have to deal with a crap ton of paperwork. And when it comes to budget time next year, guess who's going to get theirs cut?
Yep.
Oh yeah.
So they leave them alone and go for the people who don't have the money to fight in the system and don't have the power to not be abused.